Hey everybody, welcome to A.L.T podcast. My name is Travis Wilson,
I'm Karen LeBeau.
and we are
A.L.T.
Frequency, where we vibe together. All right, hello out there in TV land, and welcome to another great show we got lined up for you. It is my distinct pleasure to have a world-renowned, working-class hairstylist, makeup artist extraordinaire, Mrs. Andrea Bowman.
Hello,
Come on now,
everybody.
welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
It is such a great pleasure to have you on
It's a pleasure to be here.
because this segment we try to have our artists on, no matter what, from what genre, be it visual arts, be it cooking, culinary. We want to have a multicultural experience on this show and everything, and so we want to have people from every walk of life who are doing something for the city locally, but also who are going out there living their dream, coming back home and investing back in their community.
Yes.
So it was a given that I asked you to come here and sit with us and bless us here. And
Thank
I'm
you.
so thankful for that, and so thankful to have you here today.
And I'm happy to be here. Thank you for
All
the
right,
invite.
for those locals who don't know where you are, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you were born, and we'll go take it after that.
Okay. I am Andrea Mona Bowman. I am a Shreveport native. I am Motown's finest. I'm born
All right
and raised in Motown area of Shreveport. I am a mother of 3 sons,
Okay.
2 amazing granddaughters, and 1 on the way.
Okay.
Just found out today that I'll be finding out if it's a girl or boy in a few weeks. And yeah, I started my journey in hair. I graduated from Pat Goins Beauty School in 1993.
Come on now.
Telling my age, right?
You good? You maintaining?
Yes, and I went into a salon called Beauties, my auntie salon, for years, until she took it to her home, and then I started at another salon, Blessed Hand Salon, that was on Lakeshore Drive with my cousin,
Okay.
and I stayed there the rest of my years of doing hair in the city for 20 years total.
Okay.
And in that, stepping out and going into that salon, that's when I got introduced into TV and film. In 2006, I did my first little pilot that my cousin Crystal Woodford, shout out to Crystal, she's one of the hairstylists that do TV and film, and she couldn't take this particular job, and it was only paying $200. That's how.
Okay.
It was at the least of the bottom of the barrel, but it was an opportunity. I never neglect the fact that God works in so many ways.
Absolutely.
And from that particular opportunity, by me contacting my pastor en route, my pastor remembered that I had an opportunity. So fast forward years, about 6 months later on Easter Sunday, his sister-in-law was extra on Welcome Home Roscoe Jenkins.
Okay.
And she had introduced the hair department head to, invited him to come to Pastor Gant's house. And so he came over and he was just talking. He was like, yeah, I need some local ladies that really work good in the salon. And he was like, I got the best in the city. Go to my church. Of course, my pastor going to shout out his girl. And they called me, and literally he told him that he remembered me having the opportunity in that time. And the guy gave me a chance and didn't know that I was talking to one of the biggest hair designers of TV and film. He done all of Denzel's stuff, because that's when I ended up meeting him, because Denzel was coming to Shreveport to do the Great Debaters. And
Okay.
That's
it
amazing.
started shout out to Ken Walker, but he's rest in peace, he's gone now. But he has helped a lot of African American hairstylists get their opportunity in TV and film, and I was just so grateful that it was him, because he just welcomed me in and allowed me to fly.
Okay.
And so that's my logistics.
No, that ain't really just. No, I'm not gonna let you get off that easy. Now let's backtrack. Let's backtrack this to your origins and everything. Growing up, did you ever think you wanted to be a hair and makeup, or how'd you really get started?
Good question. Actually, I started out 3 years old. Michael Jackson fan. Shout out to MJ fans.
Okay.
I started dancing
Off the wall.
and 3 years old, acting, all the things. So I always been a part of that world.
Okay.
My mom, she was a diehard teacher at Oak Park Elementary in Moortown, and she used to start different programs to give back to the community. And so she would have after-school programs for kids in the arts, because she's an artsy person as well. So they would be drawing, they would be dancing, they would be performing, they would be acting, they would be making scribble. We didn't know what we was doing, but we was doing it.
Okay.
And so being, introduced to it really early, I wasn't, because actually God showed me when I was about 7, 8 years old that I seen myself on the screen, so I wasn't shocked, but I thought it was through that pattern.
Okay.
But got pregnant young in my senior year, and I buried that because I was heading to New York, all the things when I graduated, but then I got pregnant with my son, and I was like, nah, I ain't gonna be that mama that be traveling and got a baby at home. The grandma got to raise him. Now I'm gonna raise my own son. So I was just like, that won't happen. And then years later, my cousin, after I went off to college and kind of fell in love. Shout out to Wiley College, because that's where the great debaters you have.
Okay, come on. That's where it took place.
Went to Wiley, and then my first full film was The Great Debaters about Wiley. You see, I got connect things. But I never knew. I met a girl there, and I was doing hair in a freshman dorm, and she was doing hair in the senior dorm. And she found out I was cutting hair and all this stuff, and she was like, girl, I need to meet you. Her name was Donette. She was from Detroit. You know, Detroit is known for the hair game.
Come on now.
But she seen that I was interested, and I only prayed to do hair because my mom couldn't do hair. So I remember starting to pray in 6th grade, Lord, teach me how to do my own hair. Teach me, can you please show me how to do my own hair? I really want to know how to do hair. And 7th grade, my cousin got a bad haircut.
Okay.
And she showed me a picture. She was just crying. You remember the stacked out with the tail in the back?
Yeah.
And when Salt and Pepper them had that asymmetrical one side shorter, all the things. And asked me why I knew I could do it. And got them orange handle scissors. And my grandma was like, don't you mess her. I was like, Grandma, you just paid somebody to jack her hair up.
Okay.
And you didn't beat them up, and you talking about me? So I ended up cutting it, curled it. It was beautiful. And I just remember her just having a sense of value at that point. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, this is cute. Lord, can you really teach me how to do mine? And I started cutting and doing my hair. And then next thing you know, my sister came. She seen my cousin haircut, because that's my cousin on my dad's side. But my sister on my mom's side was like, girl, who did Tasha hair? I was like, me? She was like, can you cut me a wedge? Remember the wedge bob? She was like, can you stack me out and do me well? I was like, show me a picture. So she showed me a picture, and I cut it because I could always draw.
Okay.
I literally started drawing like at 4 years old.
Okay.
Like I can make pottery, all the things. I always was just good with my hands. And it wasn't until my sister probably my senior year in high school, doing all my friends for the prom and all that, just playing around with hair. Never would have thought that I would be doing somebody's hair for real, because my mom didn't think that was the path because I was so smart.
Okay.
I was graduated top of my class, all the things. I love science too.
Okay.
I loved that. I thought I was going to find a cure for AIDS. That's why I even went on to college, because I was in that whole realm. But didn't know God had something bigger of what I prayed when I was in, 7th grade. I asked God to give me one job, because my mom always worked 2 and 3 jobs.
Okay.
And I wanted one job that I can, if I had children, I can be able to navigate. And it was when I got introduced to hair and in a serious way, is when God revealed that was that answered prayer. Years later, but he had been taking me through this process in how I even got into going to do hair. Still at that point, after going to college and coming back to Shreveport, after having my second son, I had a cousin that stayed in the projects too, and I had moved to the projects. I'm like, I got 2 kids, can't be staying with mom forever. This is a stepping stone. I'll just use this just to be able to figure out what's next. And I remember going to some classes that they had when you on the system. They made you go to some classes, and I was like, I'm gonna go to this class just to see. And it was Theron Jackson was over it. And I remember Theron asking the question, have you ever wrote down what you're going to do within the next year, the next 3 years, the next 5 years? He pricked my conscience, and I was like, what will I be doing in the next year? And he was like, if you don't know that, you need to sit down with yourself and write these things down, and then write what you need to do to make these things happen.
Okay.
Good.
And I remember leaving there and sitting outside on the steps, and I was just like, God, what is next for me? What is the plans? Like, I know what you showed me as a little girl, but this 2 kids in, I'm in a project. I'm like, this don't look like no film and TV, no no artist situation, no none of this. And then next thing I know, my cousin came down from upstairs. She stayed upstairs. She was like, and she could do hair, and she loved doing hair. She can braid and all the things. She was like, cuz, let's go to beauty school. And I was like, beauty school? I'm like, girl, I ain't finna go to no beauty school. I'm like, but then thought about it because I knew her backstory. Her mom, you know, was one of those casualties of drug use and all the things. And I knew then that, oh my gosh, she finally got something that can get her out of the projects. Because I knew that was not my stop. Yeah. I knew. I just didn't know how, but I knew. And when she said that, I was like, you know what? I can help my cousin. Like, okay. And I was like, girl, let's do it. I told her, I said, let's go ask my mom for a car. Let's go up to the school. We went to Pat Goins on Hearn Avenue. And we walking through the school, they're doing a tour, and I was like, wow, God, this is amazing that you giving her her dream the whole time. I'm like, wow. I was like, but what about me? And I was like, you ain't said nothing to me yet. Rebecca had just finished praying. So we go in the room with the lady, you know, doing the financial part. She asking all the questions. At this point, everybody sound like one, like it sounded like off the Charlie Brown. But soon as she said, you know, if you're a really good hairstylist, you can make up to $100,000. Yeah. I said, excuse me, what'd you say, ma'am? She said, yeah, if you're really good at what you do, you can make a great living. This could be a great career. And then it was like, oh. And I was like, you know what, this is so easy because I always seen it as a hobby. Yeah. I never seen it as a career. And then after that point, that was a wrap for me.
Now, this transition, you had graduated college, you had graduated high school?
I graduated high school, and I was 2 years into college. 2 years into college. And I came home because I found out that I was in so much debt going to our beautiful Wiley College. Okay. And I was like, I got 5 more years to become a microbiologist. Okay. I will be probably almost $200,000 to $300,000 in debt. Okay. I don't want to go here to get into debt. It just didn't make. I'm a numbers girl to this day. Okay. And I was just like, and I got children now. I'm like, no, I'm gonna have to go back home and revamp. Okay. And that's how I got back. I wasn't even back in Shreveport 2 weeks, and that whole process happened. Okay. So from the time you left college and the time you went to that beauty school, it was a transition, maybe 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And how you had that epiphany. Had the epiphany.
And so I got a question. So clearly you have gifted hands.
Yes, ma'am.
What has been the best experience that you have had by using your gifts?
Being able to pour into people. I did not realize how much of a ministry it is when you're being allowed to touch people's head. And it was when that first haircut, seeing my cousin, whole demeanor changed. When I see my sister, her demeanor changed. My friend girl, her mother couldn't afford getting her hair done on a regular basis. I was doing her hair like I was a real live hairstylist at that point. And here I am in high school doing all my high school friends that couldn't afford it. Right. And I could see how it shifted how they felt about themselves. And I was like, oh, this is something really special. But still didn't think of it as a career. But I just knew then that it was something different, because if you show me a picture, I can recreate it. But if you can show me somebody and how they walk and all that, I can mimic them too. That's why I really love acting and all the things, and dancing too, because I can mimic that as well. Okay.
Now, let's stick with the demeanor of people changing when you touch them. As a little boy, I always felt some kind of way when I got my hair cut afterwards. It wasn't until I hit maybe 25, I was in Germany and I was going to a Turkish hairdressing salon. That was my first time experiencing straight razor, and then getting a massage, hot towel, the floss in the face and everything. And after the whole hour process, I felt some kind of way. I felt renewed, rejuvenated. I felt like somebody took their time and gave me some of their energy and everything. How did it transcend to you and relate to you when you do hair?
Oh, yes. Even with me doing TV and film, I don't even take it lightly with that, because it's such a ministry, because it's a servicing. Anytime you're servicing people and you're servicing with a clean heart and you're there knowing that you're there to give, that's why when I hear people talk about their bad experiences when they go to salons and stuff now. That's why I feel like the salon suite era that we're in now is really a disservice, because when young hairstylists come out going into a salon where there are older hairstylists and barbers that were there, they teach you something more than just technique.
Yeah.
They teach you things that you can only get being in those environments, as far as learning what to do, what not to do, how to navigate, how to be an entrepreneur, how to treat people, how to talk to your clients, how to really serve. And that's how it's always been, even like with our setting on set, when the actors come in, we're creating characters. But for me, being that I have 20 years of salon work, I can't detach from it, because I still have to carry that whole servicing understanding, because it makes a difference for them and it gives them a calming. I've had actors that have had horrible experiences getting their hair and makeup done. They come in my chair, have not met me but that one time, and will go to sleep in my chair.
Come on.
What that tell you?
Yeah, and people don't understand that's part of your service that you give. But like you said, you got to have a clean heart. You got to have clean. You got to have clean hands to touch
intentions.
people.
Yep, and clean intentions.
And a lot of people don't understand that transfers of energy is a real thing.
It's real.
And with that transfer of energy, okay, it's going to make you or break you in the long term. Are you going to sustain clients like that with your energy? So you have to be very careful and be privy to what you're doing to people.
Because I used to have people that I went to. I'm gonna say this: 98% of my clients, once they came to me one time, they stayed with me until I
Retention.
left.
Yeah.
They stayed with me.
Yeah.
Like I can call some of them now. I just ain't let the floodgate that I'm full on, because I'm not, because I travel so much. But they will still come. Like they're still interested in coming, and they was like, it's just different. It's just different. It's not even about just the servicing, it's about the pouring into. And I don't take it lightly that God placed me in this situation that I am because of my gift of evangelism. So I have to punch my dad a ticket everywhere I go, even if it's not even in speaking, it's in touching. So, yeah.
Wow. And a lot of the youngsters coming out, they don't realize how important it is, the basis of what you're giving, because and everything, what you want to call yourself, Christian, Buddhist or whatever, your spirit has to be clean and everything. And it's like Karen's artistry. She has to paint from her well. Ain't nothing filthy can come good of her well if it's nasty. And everything, and I think that's important. And I think that gets lost in translation. Everybody get in the hustle and bustle of trying to make their dime and everything.
And that's and I think that's what it has become, and is intentional. Because art in itself, like you said, and I'm happy that you guys have this type of platform where y'all are gonna allow every sides of art, because there's so much that comes with being an artist in itself.
Exactly.
And we are special people, because all people have some type of art, but expressions of it. And I just feel like having understanding that that you're different and you're coming from a clean place to be able to serve.
Yeah.
It will shift your whole dynamic in anything that you do.
You're right.
And that's why I'm glad, being in tandem with Karen, because you have a lot of muted souls out there, a lot of muted artists and everything. And choosing to do this platform and everything, I'm like, I need somebody who know what they're doing, somebody who's real, somebody who's legit, and everything. And that's why teaming up with Karen was the most logical decision I could do, because I knew I didn't have all the answers. I just knew we needed a platform here and everything. And I'm like, okay, thank goodness my ego has been gone for about 20 years,
That's a good thing.
I'll be up here by myself trying to get it done and everything and fall flat on my face. But you need a village, you need a community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, there are so many muted souls out here, artists who don't know where to go, and from all genres, who don't know where to go, who don't know what to turn to. And that's what we want to do with this platform and everything,
amazing.
and open up for everybody. And like, hey,
Congratulations to you guys.
Thank you,
Putting
thank
in
you.
that work, because it matters, like not just in Shreveport, but it matters across the world, because I feel like them cutting all the funding from the different art programs and all that, they hit those first. And I'm so grateful that my mother was that type of person, and she allowed me to just grow in that. You know what I'm saying? Because when growing up with her, she used to always say, well, Mom, I'm going to let you do what you want to do. because my mama wouldn't let me. I had to figure out a scheduled program. That's why with college, I was like, college is great. And I'm not dumb, because I used to think, because she was like, you doing hair? That's for flunkies. You know how they used to say
old
on
school,
a
yeah.
beauty school dropout, you know, on Greece. I said, oh, you come from that era, girl. Because you have no idea how much money I can make or how much money I do make. But it was when I really was able to start really helping her more once I became a professional hairstylist, because I was one of the biggest in Shreveport. Like, I would average 15 to 20 people in a day. It wasn't a problem, because not only was I good at what I did, I was very fast and thorough.
Okay.
I wouldn't leave people left behind. I wouldn't do them. My integrity is too much.
Come on now.
Because whatever, I don't even care if it's free.
Yes.
If I gave you my word that I was going to do something for you or to you, you're going to get the best of the best,
See,
because
that
I
part-
would want that.
That part of integrity takes you a long way.
Oh, yeah.
When you leave Shreveport into
Oh, yeah.
to the mainstream of Hollywood and
Because
everything.
that's where I'm at to this day.
Tell me how that came to play, and how did that work for you, taking your character there?
Because even with this, because Hollywood is Hollywood.
Okay.
First of all, it's a make-believe place, but yet a real place.
Mm-hmm.
So in that aspect of it in itself, so not understanding who you are out the gate,
Mm-hmm.
you can be led to believe a whole lot of things
We thick and fast. Okay?
Chewed up and spit out.
and spat out. Because it's funny that you asked me that, because I remember when I first got introduced, I was like, God, why did you wait till I'm in my late 30s? Because I was doing fashion shows, I was doing hair shows, I was competing, I was traveling, I was doing all the people in Shreveport. I had clients coming from from San Antonio, from Atlanta, from all over, and I was like, baby, I'm bougie in Shreveport. And then once I started doing TV and film, it was just a different approach, because I always loved TV and film. But it was when I asked that question, Lord, why you wait? Because I was getting up, having to be to set at 2 or 3 in the morning. And I'm feeling like I'm old, child, and I ain't even nowhere near the age I was then. So you know how I feel at 50-something.
Oh, yeah.
So in my late 30s, I'm like, wow, this is a lot. I'm like, well, God, why would you wait and let me get this? You know, I didn't do this when I first started. He said I wasn't ready. Just whispered just as clear, you wasn't ready. And then he took me down a path, and I was like, oh, that's what you mean. I wasn't ready here.
Yeah.
This was ready.
Yeah.
But he had to get me, I had to go through some life things to be able to structure me, so when I got to certain situations, I wouldn't compromise.
And that's a key point, and I think we all have that in our growth. If he would have gave us that back then too early, we'd probably wrecked and crashed ourselves.
I'd have
you're
been good
exactly right.
and chewed up and thrown out. And I'm
Yeah.
grateful that it didn't happen that way, because a lot of people have warnings. They get the warning signs. They get up and they just crank up the car and go even faster. And just like, you do not know that there's a dead end down at the end of the street. And it ain't going to be good. And it's easy to get into, but it's very hard to get out.
Exactly.
But having a type of character, because it's a trust thing in TV and film too. 90% of my jobs have come from somebody that I met along the way that remembered not just my work ethic, but they paid attention to, I understood who I was and what I brought to the table, and I wasn't a compromise, because baby, I shot Shreveport everywhere I go, because I liked it for people to know that I came from a small
Come on now.
place, but yet I have a profound gift that you got. Because I'm like, you look like you from New York or LA or something. No, I'm not. I'm from Shreveport. Shreveport. Oh, I can hear it when you talk, and can.
Yeah.
And ain't finna change it.
Come on.
Because I know who I am. And it's okay. And
Yes.
just because you're born in one location doesn't make you any greater or lesser than me. But I am confident to know that I know my stuff. And you ain't gonna trick me to make me think I'm any less because you have either more money or opportunity or whatever. God is the order of my steps. So if I have to do those things and obtain it, I can. Because if you did it, I can do it too. But do I want that?
Right.
That's the question.
Right.
No, I want to be what God want me to be. So at the end of the day, character really matters, because those actors, if they people sense when people
Or green.
are green. They sense it when you're mean. They sense
Yeah.
it when you have motives, very ulterior motives.
Ungenuine, yeah.
They know when you have other things going. They can sense it.
Yeah.
They're not any different. It's just when they come in those realms, we're in a little bubble in itself. and we have to operate together. But they are people just like anybody else. Because I remember one young lady when we went to, I did a film called Get On Up when he was talking about James Brown's life. And I remember going to our rap party, and they had invited some of the local background artists there. She was like, "Oh my God, Mona, you know Chad? Oh my God," to my Chad Bozeman. I was like, "Yeah, that's my boy. He's a sweet pea." And he came over there and was talking to her. She was like, "Man, oh my God, this is so impressive." She was like, you just don't seem impressed. I said, "I'm happy and grateful to be in a room of great people." I said, "But you're here too, baby." I said, "What am I to be impressed about?" She was like, "You do TV and film." And this is how I was like, "Sweetie, that's a job.
Yeah.
That's not who I am." I said, "That's the same way if I go to Walmart and I write on my time card, I'm in at 8 o'clock and I get off at 7 o'clock." I said, that's considered a job. I said, people convey and get these things construed and mixed together, that's who they are.
That's how they get messed up.
And no, baby, that's not, this is what I am. She was like, "I just can't believe you're not impressed." I said, "Sweetie, it's hard to impress Mona B." I said, "Because if anybody else can achieve it, that means you can too."
Absolutely.
I said, "You want to really know what impressed me?" I said, "Don't take a bath and don't stink in 2 weeks and let me know."
Come on now.
That's impressive. Because tell me who can do that? What human being can? Tell me what human being can.
But
But,
also
if one human being accomplished one thing, that means another one can do it.
Absolutely.
It's just how much time and what are you going to put in it to obtain it?
The time. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. Yeah.
So character matters.
Okay.
It matters a lot to me.
So being in your 30s, getting that gift and getting that opportunity, help you navigate it better than you were starting out in your early teens and 20s.
Yeah, I know without a shadow of a doubt I might have fumbled.
Okay.
Because I learned from being a mother, and by then I had just recently came out of my divorce at that point.
Okay.
So I had been through life things and dealing with even more clients, and as hairstylists and salon, we have to become counselors as well.
Okay.
And you hear a lot of stories, and I never took it lightly because I knew how in the early 70s and 80s, how they still hadn't really labeled hairstylists as a key entity. You know what I'm saying? They never took it seriously.
Yeah.
Coming into the late 80s, 90s, when hairstyling kind of shifted, when it was getting more of a magazines and
artistry.
Yes, when people were putting them on platforms, this is when people like, oh, but not saying that we wouldn't need it, because let Saturday morning hit, you knew it was needed, because every hairstylist was getting paid on Saturday. If you ain't working out one day, Saturday was gonna be that day, because everybody trying to do what? Get ready for church. But they never put it together, and then it was when it shifted into the 2000s, where Bronner Brothers and all of them had big platforms at this point where products were being made. But remind you, we had examples of that in the 1920s with Madam C.J. Walker and the young lady that she had. They were millionaires in their time.
They were.
Where it wasn't even heard of a black woman owning or having that type of money.
Okay.
Let alone. So to have that play on it for so long, to be looked at as, oh, that's the route you're gonna go, to come to this thing that it is now. This is almost $1 trillion industry now, because of all they finally seen how important it is, and they also seen that it's a book can be made from it.
Exactly. I think around about 90s, mid 90s, you had companies like Cardos, Weller, Gold Weld. How was our representation in the early?
With our culture, our shift was different, because we didn't have all the mainstream outlets, but being that Essence, what's the other one that was every week? Our magazine.
Jet magazine.
Jet.
Okay.
These companies with what's his name?
Johnson.
The Johnson family. Okay. They were the one that made the shift of that dynamic, and I'm so grateful, because that's when you start seeing. Then the late 70s, the early 80s, it started that ball, the rolling, because their advertising market stood
The demographics of what they were
they
dealing with.
understood the assignment. And from them coming from those other companies, because I can't remember because I just did some research on him, Mr. Johnson, and he was saying how he noticed nobody was in the room but one or two of us, if that. And that's when they just
And those,
decided to go.
and those were scientists, basically.
Yeah, and that's when they
Or
decided
chemists.
to go to that next level. But they're people that they hired that tried, letting them know, hey, we need to get this in the eyes of people when they've seen the fashion changes, all the things. Because the other representation of the other companies were doing it.
Yeah.
But they started that. But by the late 90s, Bronner took over in Atlanta. They
Okay.
were pushing it. Dudley, all these different companies. And oh my God, I had got introduced to so many products, and it was just like a floodgate. I was so excited. I'd still go to hair shows and stuff now just to see, but it's kind of slowly dying off. Like even Ultra Sheen, that company, all of them, they're gone. And they were literally
At the forefront of everything in
yes,
the change.
and it's just a shift in how they took some of what we had to offer and shifted it and say, oh, that's not it. This is it. And then we bought into it. Let me say it like that.
Yeah.
So, Mona, let me ask you, what's next for you? Like, you spend more time here, you don't travel as much, you were gone for a while. What's next for you?
Oh, I still travel. Yeah, I just duck off in it. But I started my own production company, but it's not a production company that just make TV and film situation. My target is to train and educate people into TV and film. And the reason so, because there's so many outlets in TV and film. If you look at the back of a call sheet, it's at least 15 to 20 departments that people can actually make a great career. Not just have a job, but could be a career. I didn't take my career serious until I was in about 5 years ago.
Okay.
That I had a second career because I said, I'm gonna do 20 years in the salon. And then I considered that a career. And then I thought, now I'm just doing, didn't realize I'm in a full-on career. And I'm at year 19 now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
But just in that shifting of where I want to go next is to get as much education to people as all people, but especially people that look like me.
Okay.
Because there's still a lack of representation in all departments. Even in my department, where my union that I'm a part of, you would think by now in 2026 that it would be more of an elevated of numbers.
Okay.
But the percentage is not as high as I would like for it to be because it's a lot of great hairstylists that can be trained and taught, because that's the other thing. A lot of people think when they watch TV, be like, oh, that's so ugly. But when you understand character development, understand that we're making a world. This is something that we're taking out of somebody else's mind, off a piece of paper, and bringing it to reality.
Gotcha.
And we have to follow protocol of what they want, how they expect for these characters in their head to look just like an artist when they're developing something. People are like, oh, what is that? Why you? That's your concept, you know what I'm saying? So we have to do the same thing in TV and film.
Okay.
But that's my next step of just getting into younger generation and people my age and older, anybody that love TV and film and want to understand the aesthetics of how it's made and understanding what department that you would want to shine in, because like costuming is a great one if you like clothes or you like fashion.
Okay.
There's a department called greens, a greens department, where if you like flowers, these are what people that take care of the flowers that have to be set or done or staged on different locations. Grips, people that set up aesthetic lighting posts, their electrics.
Okay.
There's so many departments, even with craft service. If you like food, you like
Okay.
crafty, you like catering, their catering service, if you love to cook, all these different aspects that we have to have every day that
Okay.
we're shooting, and you can make an actual great living. So that's why I'm heading next, just to build my
Okay.
company up a little bit more. Because that's why I just came from LA. I had partnered with
Right.
NAACP and the Handy Foundation and Netflix. They started a glam squad, and they're on their third cohort this year,
Okay.
where they do training for makeup artists and hairstylists, teaching them the ropes of how in a 8-week course, and get their feet wet. So I want to bring that to Shreveport, but in every department, not
All
just in
right.
hair and makeup. So I'm producing that as well and stepping into the producing realm.
Okay.
And I'm going to a training in Atlanta this weekend about line producing. Even though I've been producing for a minute, I've got like 4 of them under my belt, but just
Okay.
want to learn as much more that I can, so I can be able to come back and pour into more of my locals, people here, because my next step is Texas as well, be between
Okay.
Texas and Shreveport, Dallas Fort Worth area, because Dallas is going to be the next Hollywood South. Taylor Sheridan is moving in such a dynamic way, and a lot of people are leaving actually LA in itself because of the cost of living and
Okay.
different things.
Awesome.
So,
Well,
yeah.
Mona, we want to give people a chance to know how to find you. So if you
Oh.
can give us that real quick and
Yes. How you can find me on Instagram is Andrea Mona B or Mona B Productions, and on Facebook you can find me at Andrea Mona Bowman.
sounds good.
All
Yes.
right. Everybody, we thank you so much, Andrea Mona Bowman, for being here. Going to give a little nugget out. This is not the last time she's going to be here because she's already agreed to do part 2, 3, and 4. So this is
Yes.
going to continue. And I thank you so much for being with us here
Thank
at
you.
ALT Frequency. We appreciate you and everything, and
been great.
continued success.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
God bless.
All right.